Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? The NFL schedule release is coming down today officially. If you go to LouisianaSports.net, we do have a live tracker. So as certain games leak and we learn of those opponents, we're posting them at LouisianaSports.net on the live tracker. So you can go to LouisianaSports.net. You'll see it right there under the latest stories. It's the Saints 2025 NFL Schedule League tracker. So you can see all the games that we know as of right now what will happen. Like week 3, the preseason will be Denver. Saints reportedly will open the regular season week 1 at home against Arizona. Week 3, they'll be at Seattle. Week 5 at home against the Giants. Week 6 at home against the Patriots. Week 10 at home against Carolina. They will play week 12 on November the 23rd against Atlanta in the Dome. They'll play at Miami week 13. They'll wrap up the regular season at the Falcons in week 18. So, and that's what we know that's been leaked now in any event as of now. So we'll keep an eye on all that as we move throughout the show, and hopefully before we're done, we'll get a full schedule release, and all those will be updated. We'll pass it along as we know more. What we certainly know for the New Orleans Saints in 2025 is that Derek Carr will not be the quarterback as he is retired. And his de facto spokesperson, his brother David Carr, was on the Insiders on the NFL Network Tuesday and was asked point blank if Derek is actually done, because that's been one of the questions a lot of people have asked. At 34 years old and quarterbacks playing into their 40s now, is Derek Carr actually done, or is this just a path to not be associated with New Orleans this season, and then maybe in 2026 he tries to come back after the shoulder heals and moves on from there? Here was Derek Carr's spokesperson, his brother David Carr, taking time from their ridiculous Carr review videos to talk to the NFL Network.
I believe that he is done. I know that Derek loves the game, but here's what I'll tell you. I think more than anything, he loved the teammates. He loved being around the personalities. That was the one thing, like Judy, over the last couple of days of playing golf with him is, for me, when you retire, you kind of go away and the NFL kind of forgets about you. That's what happens with most guys. I cannot tell you how many phone calls that he got on the golf course. I mean, it was every other shot. His phone was ringing from either an ex-head coach, someone he played against. I mean, just nonstop outpouring. He'd just put him on speaker and he'd have chats with him. And I could tell just in the last couple of days, he's definitely done playing and he's moved on because, like I said, his family, his boys, and his little girl are getting older and they're getting to the point where they want to have dad around more. And that means more to him than anything else.
That is maybe the most real thing that any of the Carrs have said throughout this entire process, because that's believable. That's a very human emotion that any one of us, whether you're an NFL quarterback, whether you're a radio host, a doctor, a lawyer, whether you work at Exxon or whatever you do, you can understand that. Like if you have children, you can understand that. Like you want to be there for your kids' life moments. I mean, Terrio sits here every Friday with me. He retired in 2012 because, and he's told the story, like he's getting calls from Jonna. Kids are walking. Kid learned to ride a bike. Ryan's missing that. Like, those are things in a lot of people's lives you don't want to miss with your children. And so you make sacrifices to do things. We all make sacrifices in our lives. But at some point, you can also make a decision about what you want to do, and that's respectable. The thing I've said about Derek Carr, literally from this entire 2 years we've talked about it, and I hated the signing when they made it for all the reasons I said. I've had distaste for his tenure in New Orleans for all the reasons we've talked about. But also, what I have thrown as a caveat, every time we talked about Derek Carr, be it interceptions, injuries, anything, I've always said that Derek Carr seems like a good man, a good husband, a good father, a good child of God, all of those things, good Christian man, which all are dramatically more important than your ability to throw a football. In life, he seems like a good person. And that's fantastic. So I don't doubt that part of it at all. And if he's at a point in 34 where he's ready to be home with his children more, okay, I believe him completely. I also look at the way that the Carrs have spun this story, and I don't believe them there. And there's enough circumstantial evidence and other people who I trust who are looking at this going, that don't sound right. And maybe it's just that in this profession, Like when you're journalistically trained, you're always taught to ask why. Like always be asking questions. Why? And maybe that doesn't lead you anywhere, but sometimes it leads you down different paths. For example, like why did Derek Carr pass on $30 million? Why did he do that? Well, David Carr had this to say.
He walked away from a lot of money. I mean, I look at it from a player's perspective. You could have easily said, I'll have the surgery. Let me just get through the season. Just cut me a check. I mean, let's just be honest. Like that's a very real scenario. And that was never it for him. That was what was so shocking for me is like and not really shocking because I know the kid, but just watching him kind of go through, everyday life and as a quarterback, number one, I want to do this right for the Saints. I want to make sure that they're set up in a way where they can kind of recover from this. I know it's late. I know this isn't ideal, but I want them to be able to recover and have something going forward. And him and Mickey worked very well together. And Derek finally came to the decision where he didn't want to have surgery. He didn't want to have to go through that rehab. He didn't know if he'd be ready to come back then to be able to help the team. And he made the decision to walk away.
He made the decision to walk away, worked really well together. Remember what Scott Shanley said on this show on Monday? Again, Scott Shanley said he'd spent a decade in NFL locker rooms. This is what Scott Shanley said on this show on Monday.
First of all, to me, I don't know many players that are not going to get a surgery for $30 million. So the fact he didn't go have shoulder surgery to get $30 million guaranteed tells me the team said, listen, we're going to fight for that $10 million we gave you unless you just get out of here. And I think that's the reason why he didn't get shoulder surgery and sit on IR for a year. But even going a step further, why did the guy even get $10 million? I mean, why was the physical not done in early March? You had every opportunity to get out of this contract. It's weird to me that you paid a guy $10 million and then found out a month later that he didn't have a very good shoulder and you had to move forward in a different direction. It seems fitting this is how the Derek Carr era ended.
I mean, it's a very reputable former NFL player, knows the Saints very well. I mean, Ross Tucker said effectively the same thing on his podcast.
Number one, NFL players do not voluntarily give up $30 million. Nobody does, which means that the Saints made it clear to Carr and his representation, if you just have the surgery and go on IR, we're going to fight this. We're going to file a grievance because you didn't tell us in March that your shoulder was bothering you. When we redid the contract, you weren't working out here when you felt the discomfort.
By the way, this Derek Carr, who apparently gave up, just passed voluntarily on $30 million, this is the same Derek Carr who told Kat Terrell after the season he would not take a pay cut. Remember that? When Derek Carr said he would restructure, he would not take a pay cut. Some things you've earned is the way he said it. So that's a guy that wouldn't take a pay cut in January. In March, but said he would restructure. And then we learn he did not want the restructure. And then we find out about the shoulder. So again, when you start to piece the story together, actions always speak louder than words. And sometimes you can look at a situation and go, what's really going on there? I think it's telling the story. Like, do I believe Derek Carr wants to be home with his family and that his brother David is saying that? I believe that plays a part. I don't doubt that at all. But all the other components of trying to, that's where then I look at David Carr going, man, he just wanted to work with the Saints to do what was right by them financially. I don't buy that one lick. He could have done that in January. He could have done that throughout this process, making them aware of issues with his shoulder earlier. They would have never restructured him. They would have never guaranteed him that money at the first day of the league year. Had they known this was the path, as they were already planning on drafting a quarterback with their new coach and moving on. Let's get real, man. Sometimes you have to look and say, what's really going on? What's really going on is Derek Carr mishandling this whole thing. A guy that couldn't get his behind on a private plane even once to meet his new head coach. As the city that he's representing is hosting the Super Bowl, he's not even here that week. The epicenter of the NFL. We got Jaden Daniels walking around Media Row, Cam Jordan, Alvin Kamara. Blake Grupe was down there for Blake Grupe walking around. We talked to Blake Grupe on the Monday of Super Bowl. And Derek Carr isn't there? What's really going on? It's the story, man. Derek Carr mishandled this entire thing. And he left the Saints in a terrible spot. And they're going to try to make chicken salad out of the chicken bleep that he left him with. So Go golf with your brother. Go do car review videos or whatever it is you want to do. Spend more time with your family. God bless. Who wouldn't want to spend more time with their wife and kids? But stop sending your brother out there on the NFL Network to do your bidding and try to paint you as a saint, because you ain't it, dog. That much is obvious. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.